sister, who sometimes doesn't show up for recording sessions because she's in San Diego. I am joined this week by my lovely significant other,
Lauren Paul.
And we're back to discuss even more philosophical questions about whether or not people in relationships can ever be assholes to one another. And the answer may surprise you. But before we get into that, did you have something to say?
The answer is yes.
Oh, wow. That does surprise me. Before we get into that, we do have a drink to sample today, Lauren.
What is it?
I don't know.
I was going to say, it's not in English.
I got it in international market. We tried the yellow version of this.
Oh, so this is orange.
This is orange. I assume it's orange flavored, but it's 1982 soda. We tried, I think, the pineapple version of this, which you thought was enjoyable. And today we're trying orange.
It's a little sweet.
I like it. It'd be good in like an orange cream float. Like with a vanilla ice cream?
I think with a vanilla ice cream, it would make more sense. But by itself, it's a little sweet.
You think most things are better than vanilla ice cream. And I'm tired of pretending like you don't.
Vanilla ice cream is delicious. What
is this a fight? Are we fighting?
This is a fight. We're fighting.
So on that topic of us constantly bickering, Lauren, has anything happened that's exciting and new and different in our lives since the last time we got together to record?
Since the last time, well, I don't remember what we talked about when we got together to record last time.
It was also an Am I the Asshole episode.
No, I remember that. I just don't remember what we talked about.
Has anything happened in our lives outside of the recording session since the last time we recorded?
I don't remember.
You don't remember.
No.
Lauren, what are we doing next week?
Oh, well, that's not a thing that's happened since the last time we recorded. I've been planning that since June. Never mind.
We're fighting. Is this a fight?
We're fighting. This is a fight. We're going on a trip.
Doot, 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 doot.
Going on a trip.
Doot, 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 doot. God, we're getting way too much into like obnoxious YouTuber territory. This is scary. I'm not prepared for the demands of hosting. I really underestimate how much work Naomi has to put into it. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're going on a trip. We're traveling for almost 3 weeks.
Yep.
In, I was going to say Brazil, Peru, Costa Rica, and Mexico. Mm-hmm. It is shockingly going to be pretty cold. It looks like Peru right now is varying between 30 and 60 degrees during the day.
I'm so excited to get out of the heat.
So I get to wear my sexy leather jacket as we explore Machu Picchu.
Sexy leather jacket.
Okay, now we're definitely veering into obnoxious YouTuber territory. But also, within the next month, we're doing something else. We've been making plans for it for a while. What is that other thing?
We're moving in together.
Oh my God. Yeah, this is going to be a treat. We're going to have our own recording studio in the new house.
We are going to have our own
We're going to have our own maid's parlor. Mm-hmm. We're going to have a billiard room.
It's a very big house.
A grand library. 2 wine cellars.
2?
Yeah. A cattle paddock out back.
You haven't mentioned the kitten room.
The kitten room. Lauren, what do you want to do in a kitten room?
I want to raise foster kittens.
Oh, and did you used to do that?
I did used to do that in my apartment, but then I moved into a studio and it was too small.
That seems fair. Well, yes, we may be raising kittens. If you give us lots of money, we may even name a kitten after you. Go subscribe to our Patreon, please. I'm begging you. Naomi's not here, so I can actually shill. But the other thing we were thinking of was maybe raising chickens. And I'm really glad we're doing this. Yeah, I mean, I used to have chickens. They were a gift from my brother when he moved out of state, and we now have a large backyard that is properly zoned so we can raise chickens and not annoy our neighbors. So that's kind of exciting. This is now a farming podcast.
This is a farming podcast. I think they call it homesteading on TikTok.
Homesteading. We're going to do homesteading and permaculture stuff, but audio only. We'll be like, and then you shake the seeds into the soil, and the soil should look like this, and there's absolutely no references available. Yeah, that'll be exciting and different, and I have no idea whether or not I can continue doing a podcast about why no one will date me if I'm moving in with someone.
Yeah.
But I have had roommates for a while, so maybe that's
true.
Yeah, that's
Joel, are you excited to move?
No, because moving sucks. I was also talking to Lauren before we recorded about how it's interesting sort of compiling your possessions with a partner, because we both have couches and we both have bookshelves and we both have varying pieces of kitchen equipment. And now we get to compare the two and be like, which one is higher quality? Who has better stuff? It's a fun little game.
It is a fun little game.
I am firmly of the belief that Lauren has a better napping couch, but I have a bigger couch. So,
yes.
it's a problem. How do you compare those respective attributes?
That's true. Well, we're keeping both couches.
Oh, we are.
So
I'm learning so much on this. This
you
is like
insisted that we keep both couches.
I insisted and then forgot. Shows how on top of things I am. Speaking of forgetting about things and being a huge doofus as a boyfriend, we're back to discuss more people in relationships having
Oh
problems.
my God! Wait! What's on Saturday?
What's on Saturday?
Oh my God!
I am joking with my significant other. Saturday is our 1-year anniversary.
Yay!
What date is it not, Lauren?
It's not the 6th.
Lauren was very upset that I forgot that our anniversary last weekend, and it turns out it was not our anniversary. It was our anniversary minus 7 days. And I was right, and she was wrong, and I want to be referred to as the relationship historian. When people have questions about how we met and all the important details, I want to be the person who chronicles all of that, and I will not take advantage of that by just making up details that make me look better. Like the first night we met, and I kicked your ass repeatedly in a fantasy deck building game.
He's lying.
This is 100% true.
No, it's not.
Lauren, shall we get into our questions?
Yes.
I got some doozies for you.
I'm excited.
And I hear you have some doozies for
I
me.
do have some doozies for you.
If you're listening to this, you've probably listened to our prior episodes. We read questions where people are like, have I been bad? And we typically are like, yes. But it's worth discussing why we say yes. So here's number 1, Lauren. Am I the asshole for telling my fiance she should have sent a decent amount of food? My, 31 male, sister Jane had a baby a few days ago. My fiance, Allie, 28 female, said she would cook some food and send it over. I didn't ask her to. She offered. I said sure. She made a small lasagna and some brownies and asked me to drop it off at Jane's the day after she came back home. My mom was at their house when I went. She saw the food and made a comment about how Allie could have sent more. I was pretty embarrassed, but I just said that's what she made. Mom then says that Allie should have sent enough food for at least a couple of days and that Jane's still recovering. I didn't say much else and came back home when I saw that Allie was on the phone. She finished talking and immediately went off at me. My mother had called her saying she was lazy. I told her that I didn't say anything to Mom. She saw the food and thought it wasn't enough. Allie said that she was sending food for courtesy, to which I replied that Jane was dealing with a new baby, and the least she could have done is send a decent amount of food, not this, especially after she herself offered. This reflects badly on me as well. Allie got mad and said that I was putting up with my family's behavior. I said she was going too far, that of course I'll defend my family. She said she needed a break and went to stay with her sister and hasn't been receiving my calls. Her sister picked up once and cursed me out. Was I acting like an asshole?
Oh, Jesus Christ. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Why is that, Lauren?
So many reasons.
Give me one.
I mean, he totally took his mom's side without any question at all.
Are you saying you shouldn't defend your mother?
Yes. Never. Sorry, Mom. I hate you.
She's looking at me pretty intently as she says that. He could have volunteered his fiance to cook food. It could have been much worse, Lauren.
Oh, that's true. That's a good point.
Yeah, I'm with you on this. I think if you are making food for people, that is a kindness. Mm-hmm. You really can't put limits on what people do for you. You shouldn't have expectations, especially when there was no expectation to begin with that someone would do something for you.
Well, and it's an expectation that the mother is holding on behalf of someone else.
Oh, okay,
she's not
good point.
even the person receiving the food.
Right.
She's a third-party observer of the transaction.
Yeah. Okay. Did Jane even say anything about it?
It doesn't sound like Jane said. I didn't hear anything about Jane saying anything about it. It sounds like it was 100% from the mom.
I'm picturing the mother just eating the lasagna in the kitchen, being like, "You should have made more for Jane," and Jane's been passed out in the bedroom the entire time and knows nothing about what's going on. So I don't think you should hold your significant other to unreasonable standards when you yourself have contributed nothing. Mm-hmm. I think you should probably back up your significant other when they've done kindnesses and your family's holding them to unreasonable standards. And you probably shouldn't entertain when people are pretending that there's a problem when the person who was offered the kindness has not even broached the possibility that there's a problem.
Yeah.
Does that all seem fair?
That all seems fair.
Okie dokie. What do you got for me?
All right. Let me pull it up. I'm using my phone today, which is a little inconvenient. Okay. Am I the asshole for pranking my girlfriend?
No, girlfriend pranks are always okay.
Sure. Keep saying that. Molly and I have been dating 2 years and we're both 20. Last weekend we were hanging out at my parents' place by the pool and she asked me to go get her water. I thought it'd be funny to take the hose and spray her. I figured it was fine because her purse and her phone and stuff was inside, so nothing would be irredeemably water damaged. So I get the hose, she's laying on her back, I yell, "Heads up!" and spray, and no, it wasn't on the hard setting, it was like the shower head type spray.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, just the shower head type spray. She pops up, and honestly, after the initial shock, I thought she'd find humor in it. Nope, she was upset that she was wet, that her hair was wet, and that she was cold. I insisted to her that I thought she'd find it a little funny. She said I was an idiot, that I was immature, that I was a little boy, and that I was disrespectful. I went inside, I got her a few more towels so she could dry off, and when I tried apologizing, she just rolled her eyes and told me I'm not apologizing because I'm sorry, but because I want out of the doghouse. Am I the asshole?
I find it very disrespectful that his girlfriend Molly called him a little boy, because he is 20 years old. He is a man, Lauren.
That's a little boy. I'm sorry. Sorry, Len. That's a little boy.
I was...
You're not a man until you're like 23.
Whoa.
And that's...
Whoa, spicy stuff.
Not even
Coming in hot.
23. That's generous. I've met dudes who aren't men who are in their 30s.
Wow. We're going to clip all of this and use it against you out of context.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah, I'm with you. I was concerned at the beginning of the episode that we were coming across as obnoxious YouTuber types, and this person is coming across as an obnoxious YouTuber type, and he's not even performing for anybody. He just seemingly thinks that's how the world operates. And he's like, oh, I saw Logan Paul mess with his girlfriend, as if that isn't set up and they've gone through every part of it multiple times before filming. He's just like, no, people love pranks. People love being assaulted by random people on the street. It's comedy and people enjoy it. I have a question. This is not something that I'm very knowledgeable at. There are types of materials and clothing that people wear that you really shouldn't get wet, right? Both from like a material standpoint, but also because it could be a sheer top.
Yeah.
It could be something that would be embarrassing if parts of your body would be exposed. So it doesn't seem unreasonable that, like, just from that premise alone, regardless of how your girlfriend feels about pranks, you should probably not do this.
Yeah.
But also, I see no indication that he is in a relationship where the significant other seems open and receptive to juvenile humor.
Yeah.
I could see there being a relationship where it's like, oh, let's get each other. Let's, prank.
Yeah, totally. And it would be like
I made you cupcakes,
thing.
Babe, and it's actually mashed potatoes with frosting on top.
Yeah.
Thanks, Mom. Speaking of mothers. That was an April Fool's joke, yeah.
It was?
That was devious.
You're not lying right now?
I woke up morning of that day, and she was spraying shaving cream into my hand, hoping that I would slap myself in the face when I woke up. I tried putting on my shoes, and she'd balled up newspaper at the bottom so they wouldn't fit properly.
Jesus Christ.
And then we get home, and out of nowhere, she had made cupcakes. And we're like, oh man, cupcakes, and had forgotten everything. So we'd been at school that day, and we buy them. We're like, Mom, these aren't cooked properly. It's like, oh my God, it's mashed potatoes with frosting.
Oh.
Here's the weird thing. That was the first and only time she's done devious pranks on April Fools. And I'm waiting for the inevitable, round 2 of this occurring. But yeah, unless you've established this kind of repartee,
wow.
the word, this back and forth.
Repartee.
Thank you, Lauren.
You're welcome.
Unless you've established this with your partner already, it doesn't seem appropriate to just introduce it. And especially when someone is relaxing, spending time to de-stress, and you're like, I'm going to make you soaking wet and uncomfortable.
Yep.
And then be proud about it.
Yep.
But again, little boy is a little offensive.
Little boy is harsh. Little boy is going for the jugular for sure.
Yeah, I think this individual is the asshole. Would you agree?
I would agree.
Okay. Hey, I got a good one for you that's topical to the state we live in.
Ooh.
Am I the asshole for leaving my boyfriend in Arizona after he pretended to push me over the edge of the Grand Canyon?
What the fuck?
Throwaway first post, yada yada, bad writing because character limit. I just went to the Grand Canyon with my boyfriend. I'm 150% afraid of heights. Don't go near windows, railings type of scared. Phobia in the full sense of the word. Because of this, I didn't want to go in the first place, but it's a famous destination, so I figured it was worth facing my fears. I had multiple conversations with my boyfriend about my fears. At least 5 separate in-depth conversations about how scared I was about having a panic attack around strangers. I have a long history of panic attacks. He assured me he'd help me maintain my distance from ledges and calm me down if I got overwhelmed or scared. We just went. We planned to do a tour and then go out by ourselves in the following days. Well, on day 1 of our tour, we stopped at a scenic lookout to take pictures, and he decided it'd be funny to grab me and pretend to try to push me over the edge of the cliff. I immediately freaked out, and unsurprisingly, had a panic attack, all in front of our group while the poor guide tried to calm me down. I'm not proud of how I acted, but I'll tell you it wasn't pretty. I was sobbing and yelling that he was cruel for doing this, that he knew I was terrified, and he was evil for using that against me. He was yelling back that it was a joke. I was taking it too seriously, and to get over it because I was embarrassing myself and him. Which, to be fair, I was. It was quite embarrassing. I think I was the asshole in this next part. I told him he was a horrible person and his ex was right to leave him.
Oh, shit.
Context. His ex left him because she thought he was immature, but she left right before a high-profile family event and embarrassed him along with his family. He yelled that it was fucked up to say, and in hindsight, I think he's right, especially since it was in public. The tour guide separated us and took me back to their office, and I have no idea what he did after that. He wasn't in our hotel when I got my stuff, and I got a flight to my parents' state, and I've been staying here while I try to figure out if this relationship is still alive. We live together and work for the same company, so if this is over, my life is going to get very, very messy. There's a little bit more. Basically, multiple friends have been reaching out saying that she's overreacting and being, quote, a psycho bitch. Besides my 3 closest friends, I haven't told anyone anything, but they all know him, so everyone has heard some version of events, and they're making it seem like I'm leading a PR campaign against him. I don't have social media and haven't said anything to anyone besides my best friends. They're particularly mad that I left him in Arizona. I don't think what I did was worth all the hate I'm getting. I left him a rental car and hotel room and took an Uber to the airport. I paid for everything else, including our hotel room, and I left a note in the room telling him I was going to my parents. I feel like people don't understand, but there's so many people saying the same thing that I'm starting to question myself.
That's a doozy.
Hey, you want to go to the Grand Canyon?
Are you going to push me over the edge?
No. You should have had 6 conversations.
He just did a side-eye thing. That
No,
was
I
really
didn't.
suspicious. He did it again.
This is an audio medium.
I know.
Why are you lying to our listeners?
I'm not.
Yeah, you should have at least 6 separate in-depth conversations about how scared you are, so your boyfriend knows you're serious.
I mean, bear with me with this answer.
Oh my god, ooh.
Everybody sucks here,
Whoa.
but the degree of suckiness is way different between OP and the boyfriend.
Go on.
The boyfriend is so unbelievably clearly an asshole because she had, was it, 5, 6 conversations with him previously about her very legitimate fear and her likelihood to have a panic attack, which is a big deal, before going to the Grand Canyon. He made promises to her, and he not only broke the promise that he would try to keep her safe, but pretended to push her off the edge, was the instigator of a panic attack.
Whoa. She says, he assured me he'd help me maintain my distance from ledges and calm me down if I got overwhelmed or scared. Trying to throw over the ledge, does that necessarily violate that promise?
Yes, it does. It violates the text of the statute, yes.
Okay. This lawyer over here.
So, yes, he's the asshole. I think some of the things that came out in the fight were asshole-ish. I think it was an asshole move to bring up the ex, but I don't think that makes her in any way an equivalent asshole to him. And that to answer the question in the title of the post, she was not the asshole for leaving him in Arizona. In fact, she was probably the smart person for getting herself out of the situation and going to a safe place.
So I'm not an Arizona legal expert.
Sure.
If she genuinely believed in the moment that he was trying to throw her over the edge of the Grand Canyon, could she have claimed self-defense if she had thrown him over instead as an act to prevent that? I genuinely don't know. My guess is yes.
Probably not.
Probably not.
Probably not.
She would just have to run away and be like, that was how I defended myself.
I also don't know enough about this.
Okay.
But my
We have castle doctrine. That's basically the same thing.
But that's...
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
I'm saying we're a state that has vastly disproportionate responses to potential threats to your life and well-being.
My gut says no.
Okay. I think she was likely in genuine fear of her life.
Yeah.
And especially because someone she had been dating, we don't know how long, pretended to put her life at risk. She did not respond in a manner that we might consider civil, but in a perfectly understandable way.
Mm-hmm.
And just because she said those things, I don't think makes her an asshole. And I don't think you're like claiming that it's a particularly bad act. But I think just because like you call out the fact that his ex broke up with him doesn't make her an asshole. It means she was extremely emotional. And in that moment, she said, oh my God, you're mature, just like your ex-girlfriend called you.
Do you agree that that's an asshole-ish thing to say, though?
Not really, because it's based upon the attributes he was displaying in the moment and helped indicate how frustrated and upset she was, right? It's different than if, I think
I'm making a face at Joel.
Yes, she is. Look, it's not as though her boyfriend tried to throw over the edge of the canyon and she called him the N-word. It's not as though she started saying, you and all of your ancestors deserve to burn in the fiery pits of hell, a pox upon your house, a plague upon your family. It wasn't like she began doing mystical curses against them. It was rooted in the moment and the actions he was taking and relevant to their relationship.
I don't think it was relevant to their relationship to bring up the ex.
But if, again, the ex had broken up with him because of an issue of maturity that he was displaying right now at this moment, it seems, in my mind, fair to, in an emotionally heightened state to refer to it to communicate the depths of your agony.
Okay, let me ask this question. If she wasn't in an emotionally heightened state, would she be an asshole for bringing it up? My answer is hard yes.
I'm not completely certain.
Is this a fight? Are we fighting?
This is the one where we never do an am I the asshole again. I think we can agree that she's not the bad person in this situation.
Yes, she's not the bad person in this.
In my mind, it is appropriate if your partner has put your life at risk and you're in an emotionally heightened state to call out their character flaws if they're relevant to the situation at hand. But it sounds like we disagree on that.
It's fine to call out their character flaws. Like if she called him immature, I would be like, okay, that's valid. But if she called him so immature that that's why your ex broke up with you and caused this family drama that embarrassed the shit out of you, then no, that's not cool.
The more you say it, the more I just find it humorous. Can we agree the author's not an asshole and move on?
We can agree the author's
and fight
not
over
an
this
asshole.
off camera later.
Let's fight.
Okay, give me one that we can further bicker over.
Okay, further bicker over. Let me see here. Ooh, here's a good one. Am I the asshole for keeping a $300,000 prize to myself when I originally planned to share it with my boyfriend? My 26 female boyfriend, 27 male, is really into cars. He recently discovered a charity project where they fixed up an old Jaguar. It's worth about $300,000. You could buy a ticket for $50 to enter, and the money went towards a good cause. My boyfriend is broke at the moment, so I offered to go halves with the ticket. He didn't want to because the car wouldn't be his completely. I wasn't too worried about it and didn't mention it again. I did, however, buy a ticket for myself. Well, I won, and as of August 1st, I'll be the owner of the car. When my boyfriend found out, he was really excited until I told him that I was going to sell it and put half of it in my savings and invest half of it. He said I can't sell our car without consulting him. I told him it's my car and I can do whatever I want with it. He now claims it was all a big misunderstanding, and apparently he wanted to go halves but hasn't gotten around to giving me the money yet. I call BS on it, but he keeps saying that we're a couple and we should make decisions together. Am I the asshole for going ahead with the plan to sell the car and keep the money to myself?
Is there an edit on that?
There is an edit, but I want to save the edit until the end of the discussion.
I don't think she's the asshole. Lauren.
I don't think she's the asshole either.
Now, Lauren, we do a lot of thrifting.
We do a lot of thrifting.
Have we broken any thrifting records recently?
Oh my gosh, we did. The last weekend?
Yeah.
Last weekend, we went to 16 thrift stores over the course of the weekend.
Oh my God. And I gotta say, for people living in the Phoenix area, White Dove thrift stores. Don't pass them up.
Don't
good
skip
stuff.
out on White Dove.
Now, Lauren, you're able to utilize a student discount often.
Yes.
And often we're buying items that are probably going to go into a shared house at some point in the future. So what we typically do is we check out together.
Yes.
And then at the end of the day, one of us will Venmo the other person, whatever amount that they owe for all the items that have been purchased on their behalf. Are either of us particularly bad at waiting around and not sending the money?
No.
Do you think at any point have we taken more than a week to get the funds into the other person's account?
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
And if we did, I don't think it would be that big of a deal.
Well, the point I'm trying... Okay. No, that's fair. That's fair.
I think the context is different from that one.
Well, my point is, I'm in a relationship with you.
No way.
And I feel bad when I exploit my partner or feel that my partner is being burdened or inconvenienced by me. It's not always a financial thing. I don't think, relationships need to be 50-50 at all times. I think there's definitely relationships where one partner contributes more and the other does something else for them that makes it equitable and, fair. But I think in situations like this, you should try to, compensate your partner in a reasonable period of time. And I feel the boyfriend was kind of playing Schrodinger's ticket with the girlfriend, where he's like, I'll pay her only if she actually wins, and if she doesn't, I'll pretend that I don't owe her the money.
Exactly.
But it's been multiple months, and he's been sitting on it, and he's refused to send her any amount of money to pay for the ticket, which indicates that at no point he was interested. I think that he's an asshole for attempting to claim property that the significant other won. I would be very happy if you won a large amount of money. And I would be deeply grateful if you used any of that money to treat me to things, but I don't think it'd be reasonable to expect you to give that to me unless we were married and settled down and shared finances in any way, shape, or form. Yeah, that's kind of where I'm coming from on this.
Yeah, I mean, there's no indication that... Well, I think... Let me look at this again. He didn't want to go halves on the ticket because then the car wouldn't be his completely.
Oh, I forgot about that.
That's the sentence that gets me. Because...
We're a couple unless it comes to my cars.
We're either going to each buy our own ticket or not buy a ticket at all.
This is true. Yeah. No, I forgot about that.
He came to that agreement before all this shit went down, and he has to face the consequences of it.
You've taken contract law. I'm wondering, does she owe him anything?
Oh,
I can't imagine it.
Oh, no.
There wasn't a legally binding anything.
No,
Nothing
there was
signed,
no
no verbal agreement.
No.
It sounded as though, he's trying to rewrite history after the fact.
There was no acceptance of the offer to go halvesies on the ticket.
Good.
Yeah.
I'm going to refer to you for questions of relationship law moving forward.
Yes.
We'll be doing an episode, and I'll call you up, phone a friend on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire.
Good.
And be like, Lauren,
I love it
on this. But yes, I don't think the person in this is an asshole. Lauren, I got one for you.
Okay.
Am I the asshole for leaving a dinner date?
Oh, wait, we didn't do the edit.
Oh, right. What is the edit?
The edit on this last one was, quote, edit, period. I broke up with him.
I'm going to follow this person's Reddit account, and in the next couple of months, I'm going to see them posting on our stocks and our Wall Street bets and all these our hobby clubs, and they'll be living their best life, and good for them.
Yeah, good for them.
Am I the asshole for leaving a dinner date after he fed his dogs a better meal than us? Title screams entitlement, but let me explain. I started casually dating a guy 2.5 months ago. We've gone on several dates, such as the movies or dinner at restaurants and the arcade at the pier near the ocean. It's been a really pleasant time, and I don't want you guys to think I don't appreciate this guy, because I do, but this really rubbed me the wrong way. As for who has been paying for the dates, we usually split 50-50. He's paid for me once, and I paid for him twice, but the rest is split. So he knows that I have a gastro reflux disease, severe acid reflux, and I'm on medications for. I can't eat anything that is red sauces, barbecue sauce, or artificial dyes such as red or blue. Yes, the medications help, but only if I'm sticking to a pretty clean diet. I can't even eat hamburger because of the red dye they use. They use red dye in hamburger.
Ooh.
I did not know that. When I eat the things mentioned above, I feel like I'm having a heart attack. As I said, he knows all of this. We've talked about it several times. So he invites me to his place and says he wants to make me dinner. He makes a point to tell me, make sure you have a strong appetite. So I didn't eat anything at all since breakfast, and I was starving after working all day. So I arrive at 6 p.m. and I see him making steak, eggs, potatoes, and corn on the cob, the small ones you put in pasta salad. It looked and smelled delicious. He puts on a movie while we wait, so I'm in the living room the entire time he's cooking. Well, he keeps going back and forth between the kitchen and living room, and on his last trip back, he brings out our plates, and much to my surprise, it's pizza. I just kind of look at him and ask where the steak and eggs were, and he pretty bluntly said that was for his dogs, 2 German shepherds, and stated they eat better than he does. I reminded him that I couldn't eat pizza, and he starts arguing that he made sure to not put too much sauce on it and keeps telling me just to try it. I asked if he had anything else, and he said no. I told him sorry, but I needed to go and excuse myself. On the way home, I grabbed myself something to eat. Well, he calls me and sounds like he's having a meltdown, saying he can't believe I made him feel like that and the pizza was homemade and he made sure not to put too much sauce on it because he knows it, but he knows I can't have it at all, and said something about adding sugar to it, etc. He said that I've shown my true colors. My friends also think I'm overreacting here and said I'm acting jealous of his dogs. Am I the asshole?
No!
Oh, interesting. I don't think...
Am I the asshole for not aggravating a medical condition that makes me feel like I'm having a heart attack?
Oh, no, I'm in agreement with you on that. I'm interested in, do you think it's okay to feed your significant other less quality food than you do your pets?
Absent the gastrointestinal disease?
Yes.
Yes.
I'm with you 100%.
No, I think it's fine.
Don't feed your significant other food you know is going to make them vomit or make them feel like they're having a heart attack, or food that's going to aggravate any kind of medical condition.
In just terms of quality, if you're serving your dog steak and eggs, it's fine to serve your significant other something that's less quote-unquote quality than that.
Mm-hmm. Would you date someone who consistently fed their pets higher quality food than you?
That's a different question.
Oh, I concede it's a different question. That's the more interesting thing that I want to dig into, because I think we're in agreement that she's not the asshole.
She's not the asshole, no.
My perspective is there are certain times, like maybe if you're raising show pets or you've been explicitly told your pets need to have a specific diet, that it might be okay. Mm-hmm. But in most instances, probably not. And it's perfectly acceptable to break up with someone if they seem to care a lot more about their pets than they do you.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So we don't have a lot to talk about.
We don't have a lot to talk about.
I just wanted to hear your reaction to that.
Well, you've succeeded. Okay, you ready for this?
I'm ready for this.
Am I the asshole because my boyfriend won't let me get a breast reduction?
Yes.
Yikes.
Okay, you can read it, but my answer's going to stay the same.
For context, I, 26 female, was born with an unfortunately large breasts. Currently, my bra size is that of a whopping 38E. Because of this, I've had intense back pain, shoulder pain, etc. growing up. Starting a few months ago, the pain had only gotten worse and worse. It seemed I couldn't go an hour without having to dramatically crack my back and swallow ibuprofen and still have to suffer similar pain. I've tried yoga, stretching, exercising, and everything to try and eliminate back pain. I hoped with a stronger core, something I'd be able to support my own chest, but I've only found that it makes it worse. So I did some research and I found that a breast reduction was just what I needed. I thought about going down to a C cup or even a B. I wanted my back pain to be completely gone. So about a week ago, I brought up with my boyfriend, 28 male, thinking he'd take it well. He's always been supportive of me, so I trusted him. And he was pissed. He told me that I was throwing away my body and caving in to societal pressure. He said there was no reason to change my tit size, and that if I did, he wouldn't be attracted to me anymore. We argued about it for a good 2 hours before he tried to compromise with me and said he was all right with it as long as I didn't go below a D cup, because anything smaller than that was childish. He also called me egotistical and self-absorbed, asking me why I didn't talk to him about it sooner or think he would care about it. I told him I didn't think he'd care so much about me changing my body, and he stormed out of the room, and he has been passive-aggressively ignoring me ever since, even to the extent that he won't say I love you back or sleep in the same bed as me. So I just need to know, am I the asshole for this?
I don't think he's your boyfriend. I think he's your breast's boyfriend.
Yeah.
If your significant other has such a blow-up reaction to something like this, it would seemingly indicate to me they were only dating you because of this feature.
Yeah.
They don't care about your health and well-being and actualizing you as a person. It's just like, I really enjoyed my significant other's tits, and oh no, they're evaporating away. They're slipping through my fingers. Oh no, it's the end of my world. Yeah, I don't think she's the asshole for wanting to make a decision to improve her health and well-being.
No, but I think she's measuring her bra size wrong.
That's yes. That is certainly a possibility. Many women don't know their actual bra size. One thing that I was thinking about, I'm interested in your thoughts on this. This seems to be related to the trans debate slightly, insofar as women are held to really weird and often inconsistent standards, and women who choose to deviate from what's considered like womanhood can often be punished for that, because our society says women should look and act a certain way. And I think the boyfriend has internalized some of this, or maybe he's just making up excuses. We don't need to read too much into this. But he's like, you're not the woman I fell in love with if you have smaller breasts. You'll look like a child. And it turns out a lot of women have small breasts.
Yeah.
A lot of women have C cups or B cups or A cups, whether through surgical decisions or just their genetics. And this idea that women who are under a certain bust size aren't true women is a deeply problematic one. And it ties very closely to how trans people, I think, are perceived in our society, because they have to meet certain arbitrary standards of like secondary sex characteristics and how they look and act in order to be accepted. Does that seem completely off base? It just came to me as you were reading it.
It seems tangential.
What do you think, Lauren?
I obviously think she's not the asshole and that the boyfriend is the asshole. I don't know if I would draw the same parallels to the experience of transness that you would, given that these are two appearing to be cis people.
Yeah, I'm not saying either of them is trans.
Yeah.
That was just a thought that came to my mind that seemed more interesting at the moment than saying that boyfriend might have had a point, because he doesn't.
He does not
have
a point. I would also like to point out that the edit says, as of May 15th, after finally deciding to get professionally measured, I am not a 38E, but rather a 34H.
Oh my God.
Called it.
Lauren, how are bust sizes measured?
It's your band size is, I haven't been measured in a long time, so this may be wrong. But your band size is the distance around your
back.
Around your back, under your boobs, right? And then your cup size is the difference between the measurement under your boobs and the measurement on your boobs.
Yeah, it's inconsistent by brand, correct? But often it's based in volume.
But exactly. It's really hard to get an accurate measurement of cup size specifically, because if say your boobs hang down a little bit more, or they're like more triangular, it depends on shape. But cup size is about volume, not about circumference. So it's really easy to mess up your bra measurements.
Yeah. Also tangential to this question, about 50% of women are wearing improperly sized bras. One great tip is you can go get your boobs professionally measured, I think, or professionally sized at Victoria's Secret locations. Please don't support Victoria's Secret.
You can get measured pretty much anywhere that sells bras.
Oh, okay. I did not know that. You don't need to purchase anything. Just be like, hey, I'm looking for something that fits, and they can assist you. And then do not use Victoria's Secret because they use prison labor, and their bras are very low quality.
Victoria's Secret is fucked up for a lot of reasons.
You're saying the boyfriend isn't even just a little bit right?
No, the boyfriend is not even just a little bit right. Okay. Oh, the edit also said I broke up with him. So.
Good. All of these women freeing themselves.
Yes.
I did see in this question that there were a couple of gold comments. The top one with 55,000 points was, you should schedule a boyfriend reduction.
Yes.
Good stuff. Lauren, am I the asshole for crying to my husband, parentheses, the boss, about a coworker and making things awkward for my team? I started working for a subsidiary owned by my husband's company about 7 months ago. Only one person knew about my connection to my husband and my team, which is how I wanted it. Things have been going great for the most part, but there's one manager who treats me like I'm an idiot. He doesn't listen to my suggestions and often talks over me during meetings. I didn't want to be that person who went crying to her husband to fix things for her, and I've had to deal with people like him before in my old companies, so I was trying to handle it myself. He had me and another woman he treats the same removed from a huge project that we both made significant contribution to, suddenly without an explanation. I was so angry and upset that when my husband asked me what was wrong, I just started crying and told him everything. He ended up having both of us put back on the project and is now involved in it too, even though it's so far away from his normal job. Meetings have been super awkward for everyone, and now everyone is stressed out because my husband is a perfectionist and quick to point out flaws. They all know we're married now, and a few coworkers who were my friends been treating me differently since. When I asked one of them why, he told me I'd made things awkward. Now people weren't just working to finish the project, but they were working to save their jobs, since apparently my husband has fired people before in similar situations. He suggested I ask my husband to stop overseeing this project, but I told him I didn't think he would even if I asked him, which upset him. Am I the asshole?
What do you think?
Oh man, I'm doing so much talking. I don't think she's the asshole. I think the husband is.
Okay.
I think it's perfectly normal to vent to your significant other about problems at work. Mm-hmm. I think I've done a fair share of that to you.
Yes, you have.
I don't think there's nothing in this question that implies to me that she was doing it in order to get him to intervene. And it sounds like she's been careful about setting boundaries before. Mm-hmm. But the husband decides, even though he's the boss and his work is quite distant from this, to interfere and make things awkward. And now her job is made awkward because he refuses to not get involved in this. Now, if she had gone to him with the intention of getting him to intervene, that'd be a different story. Yeah. I don't see any indication of that, so I can't judge her on what her actual intentions were. Mm-hmm. What about you, Lauren?
But I guess why is the husband the asshole and not the manager?
Oh, well, the manager can be an asshole too. Okay. I'm saying the husband's an asshole for intervening. And what he should have done is said, go to your supervisor of the manager.
I see.
Go to HR. Go to, one of the tools we've created in this company. And the husband would certainly be an asshole if he created this company and hadn't provided any of those things in the company. Yeah. Be like, HR is so expensive. Why would we have HR? Mm-hmm. Why don't you just kill your problem employees in ritualistic combat? Mm-hmm. Does that all seem about right?
That all seems about right.
Okay. Yeah, obviously the person who is making these decisions and invalidating women's work is deeply problematic, but I think the husband could also have addressed this in a number of different ways that didn't make his wife look like a ditz who couldn't do things and stand up for herself. Mm-hmm. I think it's very easy for the husband, as the boss, to interfere and say, hey, I've noticed this supervisor seems to be acting out, and I have concerns about the quality of his work and whether or not he's giving people credit for things. That seems much better than, I'm going to sit in on every meeting, and I've been known to fire people and have true. That hang over the heads.
You could have approached it much differently.
And this is why you shouldn't ever marry the boss.
Yes.
This is true.
I was worried that the boss was going to be her nickname for him.
Oh, no.
Ooh.
Oh, it's not a nickname for him, Lauren.
Oh, God. Ready?
Yeah.
Am I the asshole for getting upset that my boyfriend wouldn't take me to the ER? My boyfriend, 20 male, and I, 21 female, lived together at my parents'. I've been having some pretty bad UTI symptoms and went to a walk-in clinic 2 weeks ago when I had clear signs of a UTI, and they sent me home and said I tested negative. I woke up a week later with extreme hip pain. I spent all day on a heating pad and crying. 2 more days passed and then I woke up with the worst abdominal pain I've ever had. I began screaming and called my mom. She says to wake up my boyfriend and tell him to take me to the nearby hospital, which is 7 minutes away, that is small, or the one that's 35 minutes away that would properly handle what was going on. I wake him up, and he says just sleep it off. At this point, I'm in tears. He says no and alludes that I'm overreacting, which I've been known to do, and it's probably nothing because I tested negative. I feel as if I've been stabbed, and this is not the type of pain I can wait out. I even compare to how I'm feeling to a possible bladder rupture because of how awful I felt. Finally, he agrees to take me, but only if I let him sleep for 2 more hours. I understand that if it was some ungodly time, but it was currently 11:30 a.m. and he went to bed at 3 a.m. after playing video games.
11:30 a.m.?
Yeah. Let me sleep for 2 more hours. That does sound like me. Never mind. I explain that I can't wait that long and I have no one else home to drive me. He turns over and lays back down. An hour goes by of the worst pain of my life, and I decide I will just try to suck it up and drive myself to the nearby ER. I woke him up one more time and I explained that I cannot wait any longer and need to go now because something is wrong. He snaps and says give him 1 more hour and lays back down. I storm off in my car and make it about 2 blocks before I realize I forgot my wallet and I was in no state to drive, as I was literally in so much pain I couldn't focus. I came home and lay down in bed beside him as I scream out in pain. He says that I know it takes time for him to wake up and I have no right to get mad. I barely utter out, please take me to the one 7 minutes away because I'm scared. I remind him that I've driven 2 hours at 3 a.m. on no sleep just to pick him up from the hospital and spent the whole summer helping him recover from his injury, including bathing and wiping him because he needed me. He argues some more, and then finally at 2:30 p.m. he takes me to the hospital 7 minutes away. It turns out I had an advanced UTI and an infection in my bladder and kidneys, as well as a kidney stone that was infected. I felt bad as I recalled my attitude that morning, but I was in a lot of pain. I do recall saying things like, fine, just don't help then, and you're being a dick in rebuttal to his attitude. Am I the asshole?
Hey, what's 2 hours after 11:30 a.m.?
1:30 p.m.
Oh, okay. Just making sure I'm doing that math right. There's only one thing in here that gives me pause, and that is, at this point, I'm in tears. He says no and alludes that I'm overreacting, parentheses, which I've been known to do. Mm-hmm. That's the only thing that I find questionable, where it's like, if there have been incidents like this in the past where she's been complaining and they go to the doctor and it turns out maybe she was imagining something or it was just like really bad gas from some enchiladas or whatever, like that would be understandable. But at every single juncture, the boyfriend just drops the ball to an ever lower and lower standard. Like I gave blood a couple of weeks ago and they messed up. And when they were returning the plasma to my arm, it went through the vein and I got my arm swelling up like a nice ripe plum. And they immediately stopped it and ended the draw, which was unfortunate because I have universal donor blood and they were unable to get enough to fill a whole bag. But then my arm was in a lot of pain throughout the rest of the day. And I got a heating pad from Walgreens and I wrapped it around that and fell asleep for an hour and it felt a lot better. And I can't imagine for a period of 2 days spinning, it on a heating pad trying to get over symptoms and not having any sort of pain relief from that.
Yeah.
That seems horrendous. I also like that he was playing video games and was staying up until 3 a.m. And this was all happening while his girlfriend was cussing and screaming in the background. Yes. He's like, oh, well, that was another great round of Overwatch. That was another great round of Call of Duty. That was another great round of Tetris Extreme. I'm going to bed.
Yeah.
And ignoring his significant other. I think if your significant other wakes you up in quote unquote the middle of the night at 11:30 a.m., you can probably listen to their needs. It's very much a dick move to be wait 2 hours so I can wake up fully.
And then making her wait 3.
Boy, this is just a real stinker. I think she needs surgery to remove the boyfriend from her life.
Yes, I agree with that.
Also, the fact that she's done this for him.
Yeah, she wiped his butt.
I remind him that I've driven 2 hours at 3 a.m. on no sleep just to pick him up from the hospital and helped him recover over the space of... Oh, my God. Boy, howdy.
Joel, I would wipe your butt.
That's really nice of you. Lauren, I would only take an hour to wake up if you woke me in extreme pain at 11:30 a.m.
Aw, thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah, not a big fan of this at all. Lauren, am I the asshole for refusing to give my partner the code to my safe?
Ooh, this is a Seinfeld episode.
Oh, is it? That's fun.
Well, it's the code to the ATM card,
Oh, okay.
But whatever.
I should say this is probably going to be my last one.
Okay.
You'll have to choose your last juicy one to
Okay.
share with me. So I am a 32 female and gemologist. I spend my days in the lab testing and identifying stones. Yeah, that's a rock, all right.
Yeah.
Oh, no, that's wood. That's definitely wood. Oh, you just handed me strawberry jam. That's not a rock at all. I'm picturing far more comedic scenarios than what she probably does on a day-to-day
No,
basis.
she distinguishes between diamond and moissanite.
That seems fair.
Yeah.
Way to give a smart response. From the nature of my work, I also have a large and valuable collection of jewelry, but also gem specimens that I keep in a safe I specifically bought and had installed to keep them safe. I also have a second, smaller safe for keeping important documents like passports. I own my home, and my boyfriend, 33 male of 2 years, recently moved in as he was renting before. I gave him the code to the smaller safe so he could put valuables in it, but he also wants the code for my gym safe. Not to put anything in it, but he says because we're living together now, I should trust him and give him the code. I've said no because he has no reason to open the safe as the only thing it's used for is storing my collection. He says he has no interest in my gym collection, doesn't want to look at them, but still wants the code to access them. This is causing tension because he says I should give it to him as a show of trust, and I said no because he literally has no reason to go in there, so he doesn't need the code. This is a 6-figure collection, so I'm not being difficult over a few little gems here. I'm the only one who knows the code. Am I the asshole?
No.
Explain your reasoning.
I think the key phrase is that he does not want to get into the safe. This is just pure showboating in terms of... Yeah. In terms of asking the girlfriend to prove that she trusts him instead of just accepting that she trusts him.
I don't know if I'd use the word showboating, but I see where you're coming from. I feel this is emotional / almost financial abuse to an extent.
I don't think it's emotional or financial abuse. I think it's a dude being an idiot.
I don't see any reason why he needs to have access to the safe.
Yeah.
I completely am 100% behind her on that. I think maybe if you've married someone,
Yeah.
that makes a lot more sense. But even then, it's like, hey, it is possible at some point in the future I may die in a fiery car accident.
Exactly.
And you'll need to know how to open this safe. And in this case, I've written it on a scrap of paper and placed it inside a safety deposit box, which you will have access to only upon those conditions. I think it's perfectly reasonable, as we've discussed, I think in a prior episode, to have a special space your partner can't access.
Yeah.
And even then, we were like important papers and whatnot, and she's giving him access to the important papers document.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the reason I'm like financial abuse is it's like, I know you have a valuable thing. I'm not going to do anything with it, but you should give me access to that valuable thing. And if you don't actually trust me. And I don't even think it's a matter of trust. Like, I think it's a perfectly reasonable idea that your significant other gets a hold of this, probably has no interest in it. A year and a half goes by, and he's like, you know what? My do kind of want to know what's in there. And he pulls it out and he's like, oh, that's really nice. And then he gets schmutz on it, and then he accidentally drops it down the sink, and the dog eats it. Or maybe he's like, hey, my girlfriend's so cool, I want to show off her gym collection to my friends. And the friends come over and, oh shit, something's missing, and he doesn't know which friend took it. Now he's embarrassed. Yeah, there's plenty of reasons I think it's perfectly fair to keep this to herself.
Yeah.
Now, Lauren, if she had a really valuable Yu-Gi-Oh collection.
Oh, that totally changes the facts.
Does that change the facts?
It does totally change the facts.
Okay, if she had valuable items that were not tied to her career, would that change the circumstances?
No, I was being sarcastic.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Good. Lauren, hit me with your best shot.
All right. My best shot is pretty good. I gotta let you know.
Okay.
It is. Would I be the asshole if I don't disclose that I'm a product of incest to my present partner or potential future partners?
Mm-hmm.
That was such a casual reaction.
Wait, what? Okay, I wasn't fully processing that. You're right. That is a little bit insane.
Yes. Okay. I, 22 female, was adopted as an infant and never really knew much about my biological family since it was a closed adoption. I received infrequent letters and photos from my biological mother. I connected with my mother, half-sister, and aunt during my freshman year of high school. I still really don't know anything about my family because my biological mother is a chronic liar. However, she did tell me that my father was no longer around and had no interest in meeting me. I talked to my half-sister and she said that she was told by our grandmother that it was due to him being a familial relation. I did some research and it was able to corroborate with DNA testing that he is indeed my mother's first cousin. Obviously, that was shocking and I feel like my existence was a mistake. I've been struggling with it. Thankfully, from what I've read, there's very minimal genetic overlap in that kind of relationship, and I don't have any medical issues. I do wear contacts, have ADHD, generalized anxiety disorder, and auditory processing disorder, and I'm prone to getting lung infections, but none of these are major in the slightest, and I live a very normal, slightly more anxious life. I'm in a relationship right now. I don't know how long it'll last or if it'll last, but I would love to eventually marry him, but I'm 22 and I'm being a realist here. Would I be the asshole if I didn't tell him since there's virtually no chance our kids would have issues? And also I'm scared that he would break up with me because of it. Also, before anyone makes any Kentucky/Roll Tide references, my biological family is from Ashland, Kentucky. My life is a meme at this point.
Incredible. I think my answer might be different than yours, and I think my answer might be different than a lot of people here.
Okay.
What's wrong with adoption? Like, if you're getting together with someone and you really like them and they really like you and you think this relationship is going to continue and both of you want to have kids at some point, why do they have to be your biological children? Like, maybe I'm not the person to propose this because I'm not someone who really particularly wants kids, but it would seem to me that the most important thing you can give your children is your values and your principles and the things you care about. And, if you're like a huge Star Wars nerd, you can pass on, that to them. And if you
I agree
care
with
deeply
that.
about football, you can do that. Like, don't be a dick and make that their only identity, but like definitely give them the things that you find enjoyable in life and give them the experiences to make them happy. And this idea that every single couple that wants to have kids needs to have biological kids just seems kind of crazy to me, especially because so many women just can't have children for any number of reasons. And even if they can have children, there's lots of reasons that pregnancy is scary and you might not want to squeeze out children, right? Like,
Yeah.
Does it seem crazy to just propose that you should be like, I want to have kids, but adoption seems better?
Wait. Are you saying that incest is fine if you adopt?
No, I feel you're dramatically misinterpreting what I'm saying. No, I'm saying you don't need to bring up you're the product of incest early in a relationship. I don't even know if you ever need to bring it up because it's such like an intimate, weird thing that a lot of people are going to have like crazy reactions to. I think what you should discuss if you want to be open and honest is, I intend to have kids someday, but I'd like to adopt.
Oh, you're
I
talking
don't know
about...
where your mind went.
No, I was... Okay. We are not on the same page here at all. Oh my god.
Do I need to repeat that again, or do you get where I'm coming from?
No, I get where you're
Okay.
coming from. I just my mind was in a totally different place.
Yeah,
than-
incest seems like a huge taboo to me. And I think even well-meaning partners are going to have an adverse reaction.
Strongly disagree that that OP shouldn't have biological children.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah.
She doesn't want them.
Oh, she doesn't?
I don't think so.
I didn't think she said anything about biological children. I thought she said there was very little risk.
Oh, okay, I did misread that. Okay, fair enough. So, never mind. Maybe I completely misinterpreted this as well.
I think you completely misinterpreted this.
What are your thoughts on this, Lauren?
I think it's not her obligation to disclose.
Fair.
Yeah, I don't think it's her obligation to disclose.
It doesn't sound like she's a very good relationship with the biological mother, so the likelihood there she's going to play a big role in their life is.
And if you look
pretty
at
low.
the edits say that her mother wasn't even aware that the father was a cousin. Yeah. So this was something that was completely accidental, totally random, has happened 80 million times in the history of the human race. I don't think that I think it's in evidence law, there's this phrase that's used to describe when relevant evidence is admissible, and it's that relevant evidence is admissible, or relevant evidence is inadmissible if it's more prejudicial than it is probative. So if it's more inflammatory, if it's more confusing, then it is helpful to make a decision. I think that the information that she's a product of incest is more prejudicial than it is probative in terms of being able to help a relationship along. Like, it's inflammatory. It's something that people, like you said, people would have really strong reactions to, that people make lots of assumptions about that aren't necessarily true. And it doesn't in any way aid the direction of the relationship, besides like not keeping a secret from someone else. And even and like a lot of the issues that could come from incest could probably be detected on a DNA test. So if she knew that she was at higher risk for, I don't even know what genetic risks come from incest, but say breast cancer was one. If she tested positive for BRCA, then you would know that from a DNA test, and you wouldn't have to blame that on incest.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That's completely fair. I misheard this and thought that there was going to be genetic issues as a result, and perhaps that's my own biases against incest on display here, and my own prejudicial opinions about adopting children.
I think we can all agree that incest is not good, that you should not marry and have children with your first cousin.
Strong opinions here. Damn, we're gonna lose all of our Kentucky viewers.
I know we're gonna lose all of our Kentucky viewers. It's
we were trying to get Elon Musk's father to sponsor this show.
Oh God.
And I guess that isn't happening.
That's not gonna happen. That's not gonna happen. What was I gonna say? But there are genetic risks to incest. Obviously, incest is not good. I do think you're showing your bias a little bit towards adoption. It is natural and normal to want to have biological children. Just because we don't want biological children does not mean that other people don't have a legitimate desire for biological children. But
I don't want a child who has to wear glasses. They'll get picked on at school. I don't know, maybe that's my version of eugenics.
That is your version of eugenics.
That said, maybe your kid can wear like cool CSI Miami glasses and come up with really good puns. They can then just slide the glasses over. It's plays in the background.
I hate it.
So much of this episode is going to be like cut out. So
I know.
it's all the long pauses. It's us arguing over things that weren't even in the question text. It's all of the fights we got into that we then decided to erase. So, we don't break up over this episode and it's released to the world.
Damn.
Always a treat recording with you.
I know, right?
Well, yes, we have recorded this. Next week we'll be off to Peru, where we will challenge our relationship even further as I attempt to throw my girlfriend off of Machu Picchu. As I force my girlfriend to eat guinea pig and 1,000 different types of potatoes all in one meal.
Yep.
As I punch a llama and then point at my girlfriend and say, she did it. All sorts of pranks and antics.
As I bite a monkey.
As I get a monkey to bite you so we can test the efficacy of our rabies vaccinations. We are going to have so much fun.
We are going to have so much fun.
Lauren, I appreciate you doing shenanigans with me.
I appreciate you.
And
just in general.
Damn, I really can't top that.
You really can't.
Well, thanks for listening, all. You enjoy your week. Find yourself a girlfriend as sweet as Lauren Paul's.
Aww. Shucks.
And if you don't date women, find yourself a boyfriend of the same. And if neither of those float your boat, find yourself a non-gender individual for whom you can have a good life.
Aww.
Bye for now.
Bye for now.
We have many thanks for the use of our theme music, which is the song Drop by Ketsa. You can find more of their music online at ketsa.uk. You can also find Date These Guys online on Twitter and Instagram at DateTheseGuys or visit datetheseguys.org. If you have questions for the podcast or want to be a wealthy sugar parent, send an email to datetheseguys@gmail.com. If you're looking to make an impact in the world, this show strongly recommends Planned Parenthood, a nonprofit organization that provides reproductive health care in the United States. Planned Parenthood provides birth control, long-acting reversible contraceptive implants, clinical breast examinations, pregnancy screenings, prenatal care, testing and treatment for sexually transmitted infections, and abortions. They also do great work for those who are lower income. 4/5 of their clients are at or below 50% of the federal poverty line. Both Joel and Naomi are monthly donors to Planned Parenthood. We hope you will be too.